I want to start off with an epigraph from my mother who passed away about a year ago last week, I guess. And it's part of a bigger quote that she had when probably I was a baby and there were the Cold War, all of that, and she was saying we can't just descend into the caves of the fallout shelters, we need to love each other. Anyway, the point I chose is, may we not change the emotion that guides us from that of fear to that of love. That's Kamala Platt, my mom. And then I also start out with a short poem that starts this book. Wind is spirit, put yourself where it blows. Okay, now I'll get a little longer. But speaking of the wind, I guess I have changed my mind on what I'm reading here about 10 times because it feels like there's a line in one of my poems about that we're running from crisis to crisis, and that's sort of how it's been, especially for the last year plus. But it's, on one hand, I have grave concerns about the climate and the planet and people all over the planet, and on another hand, I have many concerns about the people just on my own street in San Antonio. So I won't say more than that, but this is a climate justice poem that, and this has another little epigraph from Javier Cecilia, who we took our title from discussion of his poetry. Anyway, it says, the world is not worthy of the word. I want to hope that we can be worthy. Climate justice poem. So much has happened since January that I cannot write a play-by-play, yet more and more I see that there may be a day when we know that every poem we write, everything we do or say, every motion in the universe has become a part of climate change. Let's see. Oh, I've got, okay, then I taught in the Valley for 5 years, something like that. And I published this book after that, but I wrote many of the poems there during that time, and it was a time when the wall that's up now was just beginning to be, sorry, I'm looking for something else, was just threatened and then actually came into place at the end of that time. But so that the wall comes into my poetry quite a few times, even now. And okay, so I'm just going to switch over. I have this poem that was about, it's a poem, I'll just describe it and I'm going to read it tonight, but it's called Maternal Inheritance, and it was a poem that I wrote for my mother's memorial. We had a celebration about a month after she passed. And the idea being that I had gone to the rally on the 20th in Austin, sort of in her place for her. And I had made a sign, it was a haiku, and it said, we are all planetary citizens, world citizens, planetary patriots, hijas del mundo. But we also, in that, there's the other side of that, and we are also a part of all the violence and such. And so this is called These Are Ours, and I just this week decided that this was one of them I was going to read. And it's really written about all the guns that most of the largest percentage of guns and weapons in Mexico are coming from the United States. But I think it has new meaning too now, continued meaning, whatever. To you who gave me the inspiration to write a cussing poem in cussed times, to those working on the line against the exportation of violence, and to the students from ambos lados. These are ours. These are our guns. These are our fucking guns. These are our guns fighting, our gente fleeing, our taxes train, our silence feeds upon. Some silences are imposed by threat of death, but our silence is chosen for convenience sake. Some silences are imposed to grow profits, but ours is chosen for convenience sake. These are our guns. These are fucking guns. These are our guns firing. These are our dollars fighting. These are our sons shooting up, out, at the breeze, shooting the breeze. Breezes of wind. Wind is soul. Breeze is solito. Who shot soul? Who shot the child of the wind? These are our guns. These are our fucking guns. These are our guns firing. These are our dollars fighting. These are our sons shooting up, out, at the breeze. These are our sons and daughters dying. These are dead. Todos somos muertos con grief. Todos somos muertos con gritos. Todos somos gritos. Gritos. And then, how am I going to turn on time? Okay. Okay, I want to do one. I have 3 parts, and I'm going to do one of those. This is Emigrantes Ambientales, immigrants, thinking of immigrants, people who bring things. And it's called Paddling Together. I knew paddling a line down the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo, would not be easy, though the river carries the canoe and droplets on the wood grain, dry, cloudy on the paddle in my lap. I wince as strangers' border banter pierces my mestiza mind. Sun and breeze beckon our spirits, kingfishers mascot the boats downstream. Cascading and kingbirds call from high branches against chachalacachisme. The gossip issuing from the mesquite and huizache behind thickening river cane. 2 years ago there was no hyacinth, my partner remarks as we steer away from thick tangles of succulent green mass metastasized, feeding on the health of its watery host. We live from crisis to crisis now. Around a bend in time, steel and concrete pop up like running bamboo sprouts. They are leftovers of a faraway war, warmed over, soldered with the heat of fear, a border wall to still someone else's demons. Ours bounce back and over and back like an ancient ball game. We all create crises, live crises now, unabated, because they stimulate economies and win elections. Earth and her people are collateral, our damaged goods, our sacrificial flesh. I reach out of the canoe to place a memorial wreath on the waters where those who reached el otro lado entered heaven while their comrades paced onward, not yet knowing the Estados Unidos might be hell, not knowing only they needed work to pay bills, feed families. None of us knowing all Earth is in crisis together. None of us knowing 7 generations are in crisis together. Saturday Synchronicity, this is my last poem, October 3, 2011. And I was down planting, and it was the same time when the Occupy movement was on Brooklyn Bridge, and we were helping, you'll hear it in a poem, we were planting Monte behind the wall. The bridge is problems too. As migratory hawks kettled in the sky over the Rio Grande Bravo near Anzaldua's bridge, where 1,000 youth planted native seedlings, replanting Monte on once root-plowed wastelands near the banks of the river behind the new wall that has divided families like uprooted habitat, like the wall in that other long-occupied land across the seas. As hawks from the north kettled in the Tejas sky, youth replanted Monte beside a new bridge built for semis, streaming from Mexico, with goods allowed to cross where those that make them are not. As hawks from the north kettled in the Tejas sky, Cops kettled 1,000 youth on Brooklyn Bridge, kettled youth inspired by peers across the seas, Arab gente in the spring, themselves inspired by global satyagrahas to replace violent power, replanting democracy's seed, planting visions of justice on Wall Street, where banks were salvaged and those who make them grow with their small savings from scanty earnings, those who were losing houses and jobs were not.